Our story opens in a moment of pure desperation. Saya, a young woman cornered by a cruel fate, is running not toward love, but away from a life sentence in a forced, loveless marriage. Every beat of her heart is a desperate drum against the chains that bind her to her wicked family. She bursts through the gilded doors of a luxury hotel, a spectacular sanctuary, which Sia sees only as a temporary cage to escape the monsters chasing her. Her expensive wedding dress, intended for a ceremony she despises, is now a symbol of her rebellion, billowing behind her as she searches frantically for one thing: a place to hide. A safe haven. It has to be here. They're right behind me. Father would kill me. No, worse. He would marry me to that disgusting man, Lav. I can't let that happen. Not after what they did to my mother. Not after everything. Saya's inner monologue was a torrent of panic and resolve. She spots an open door. Room 302. Instinct takes over. She doesn't knock. She doesn't check. She simply throws herself inside, slamming the heavy door shut and leaning against it, her breath ragged, her entire body shaking with a mixture of terror and adrenaline. The air inside is thick, heavy with the scent of expensive cigar smoke, Italian leather, and something else. Something intensely masculine and dangerous. They didn't see me. I'm safe. Just for a moment, she whispers, trying to catch her breath. But the room is not empty. Standing by the panoramic window, bathed in the sharp, cold light of the city skyline, is a man. Our male lead, the formidable and impossibly handsome Jing. He is the CEO of the powerful J Group, a man who dictates markets and bends the world to his will, and who is, at this moment, utterly undisturbed by the sudden frantic intrusion. His tailored suit is immaculate, his posture dominant. His eyes, when he finally turns them to her, are cold, assessing, and utterly ruthless. In a low, resonant, and completely calm voice, he says, "You have exactly 10 seconds to explain why you just assaulted my door and stained my carpet with rainwater. Begin." Saya freezes. She looks down at her trembling hand, searching for a weapon, anything. Her eyes land on a single, long-stemmed white rose, a leftover detail from her bridal bouquet, still clutched in her desperate grip. With a burst of desperate energy, she straightens, pointing the delicate flower like a pistol at the CEO's chest. Trying to sound tough, but with a slight tremble in her voice, she exclaims, "Don't move, not a muscle, or I'll kill you!" Jing doesn't flinch. He slowly lowers the glass of amber liquid he was holding, a small, knowing smirk touching the corner of his lips. He assesses her, the panicked eyes, the frantic breathing, the absurd weapon. A flower? A white rose. She is beautiful. Pitiful but beautiful. An actual runaway bride barging into my private sanctuary. I haven't been this entertained in years. That panic in her eyes is intoxicating. And that voice, Jing thought, a flicker of something long dormant igniting within him. In a slow, deliberately mocking voice, he provokes, "Is that a rose? A bold choice of weaponry, miss. Are you planning to charm me to death?" Sia's voice grows more desperate. "Don't test me, I mean it. If you move, I will..." Before she can finish, 3 heavy knocks pound on the door. A loud, demanding voice from the hallway shatters the fragile standoff. "Miss Sia! We know you're in here!" "Don't make this difficult. The wedding is in an hour." The gruff, loud voice of one of the henchmen calls out. Sia's eyes widen in absolute terror. The color drains from her face. Her worst nightmare is here. Her time has run out. She whirls back to Jing, her pleading gaze locking onto his. In an urgent whisper, she begs, "Please, help me, just for a few minutes. Don't say a word, I'll disappear forever." Jing is silent. He studies the terror in her eyes, the raw, vulnerable fear that is so unlike the polished, artificial emotions he usually encounters. The game just became infinitely more interesting. He lets a beat pass, making her wait, drowning in her fear. With a cold voice, but with a new edge of command, he questions, "You've threatened to kill me, Miss Runaway. Why should I help you?" In a whisper of sheer pleading, Sia replies, "They will force me to marry him. Please, I'll do anything. Just tell them you haven't seen me, please." The pounding intensifies. Jing makes a decision. A wicked, possessive smile spreads across his lips. In a low, predatory voice, he states, "Anything you say? A dangerous promise to make to a man like me. Fine, we'll play your game. But you owe me." He strides toward her, his movements fluid and intimidating. Before she can react, he snatches the rose from her hand, his fingers briefly brushing hers, sending a shocking jolt through her. He tosses the flower onto a desk and grabs a silk handkerchief, a blindfold left carelessly near the bed. In a commanding voice, he orders, "Take this. Blindfold me, quickly. And if you make a sound, I will personally drag you to the altar." Sia is stunned, but the guards outside offer no time for thought. She fumbles, quickly tying the silk around Jing's eyes. His long dark hair brushes her fingertips. She can feel the heat radiating from his face, and the sheer power held in his body, now standing unnervingly still. With a low chuckle, Jing teases, "Do you really want me to close my eyes? You might take advantage of me, Miss Runaway." In a scared but focused voice, Sia snaps, "Just hurry up." Jing, now fully blindfolded, stands rigid. The door rattles as the guards begin to force the lock. The room ahead is empty. It seems Miss Sia must be hiding here. "Break the door down!" The second henchman calls out tensely. In a panic, Sia does the unthinkable. She grabs Jing's hand, the warm, massive hand of the most powerful man in the city, and pulls him. She drags him to a small, hidden alcove behind a decorative partition, squeezing both of them into the shadows. Their bodies are pressed together, hip to hip, chest to back. The scent of him is overwhelming, intoxicating. The silk handkerchief covering his eyes does nothing to diminish the intense awareness he has of her. The door finally bursts open with a splintering crash. In a low, husky rumble close to her ear, Jing murmurs, "Excuse me, miss, are you trying to take advantage of me?" In a furious whisper, Sia retorts, "Stop talking nonsense and be quiet." The guards surge into the room, their heavy boots thudding on the carpet. They see the broken door, the luxurious room, and then their eyes land on the blindfolded man standing near a desk. "Sir, what is going on here?" the first henchman asks, confused and shocked. Jing, using his most dominant CEO voice, booms from the alcove, his tone brooking no argument. He doesn't even need to move. With authority and icy coldness, he asserts, "This is my private room, not a public alley. If you have entered without explicit permission, you have trespassed on private property and business grounds. Everyone should leave immediately." The mention of private room and the commanding tone of the CEO is enough. The guards, knowing they have stumbled into a serious, high-level business entanglement, and perhaps assuming the blindfold meant something they shouldn't see, panic. They retreat immediately. "We apologize, sir." "Leaving now!" "So sorry," the second henchman says, his voice hurried and fading. The door slams shut, less violently this time. Silence descends. Sia and Jing remain pressed together, her rapid heartbeat thumping against his back. In a trembling, relieved voice, Sia whispers, "Thank you. I can go now." Jing moves, turning in the confined space until they are face to face, his blindfolded gaze aimed perfectly at her. Their faces are inches apart. His hand, which she was holding, slowly moves up her arm, settling on her waist. In a deep, thrilling whisper, he insinuates, "The excitement is over, miss. The danger is gone. So, should we start what you promised me? You said anything." Sia is overwhelmed by the proximity. The raw attraction, the sheer danger radiating from him is intoxicating. She pushes back, scrambling out of the alcove and toward the door. In a nervous voice, stepping away, she protests, "Don't get carried away. I have to leave. Thank you for your help." But her haste is her undoing. The long, heavy wedding dress trips her. She loses her footing, and instead of crashing to the floor, she falls straight into Jing, who is still blindfolded. Her hands fly up to brace herself, landing on his firm chest. Her body is plastered against his. For a long moment, there is only silence, the shocking intimacy of their embrace. In a slow, victorious drawl, a powerful hand resting on the small of her back, Jing provokes, "Ah, the classic accidental fall. So this is your first step to seducing me, Miss Runaway Bride. Don't worry. Come, I support you. I'll show you exactly how to do it. If you are feeling as breathless as Sia right now, pause the audio for an instant and leave your like. The next chapter of this explosive K-drama romance is about to begin. The intensity of his gaze, even sightless, and the sheer possessiveness in his grip is terrifying. Sia manages to pull back, her cheeks burning crimson. In a nervous, stepping back voice, she insists, "Stop talking nonsense. I was leaving." She spins toward the door. Jing rips the silk handkerchief from his eyes. His gaze, now revealed, is a sharp black intensity that cuts right through her. I will remember every curve of her face, every panicked tremor in her voice. She thought she could just barge into my life and leave? No, she belongs to me now. That promise, I'll do anything, I will collect. No one says no to Jing. Jing thought, his mind locked on her. In a cold, commanding final voice, he asserts, "You can hide your face as much as you want, Saya, but I will always remember you." Before the implication of him knowing her name can sink in, a loud knock sounds at the door again, a different knock this time. Saya uses the distraction. She throws the door open and flees the room, leaving Jing alone, his eyes still fixed on the empty space where she had stood. The man who enters is Assistant Min, Jing's trusted, efficient right-hand man. In a concerned, tense voice, Min asks, "Sir, are you all right? I heard a strange noise and shouting, and the door is broken." "What happened?" Jing, lost in the new, intoxicating memory of Sia, does not answer. He walks past his assistant, his expression unreadable, and leaves the room. Assistant Min is left staring at the broken door, confused. He notices a delicate white rose lying on the mahogany desk, a jarring contradiction to the CEO's cold demeanor. "A rose?" Min whispers to himself, confused. Meanwhile, Sia arrives at the oppressive, cold house she once called home. Her father, the powerful and cruel Mr. Lee, and her conniving stepmother are waiting. The silence is heavier than the shouting. Mr. Lee, seeing her ruined dress and her defiant stance, glares with pure, incandescent fury. In a deep, menacing voice of controlled anger, he questions, "Why have you come here, Sia? You disgraced this family. You should be at the altar, kneeling before the family of Lav. Did you truly think you could run?" Saya, fueled by the adrenaline from her escape and a sudden surge of strength she didn't know she possessed, finally stands up to him. In a defiant voice, stronger than before, she retorts, "Yes, I ran. I ran, father, because I am not your property. You sold me. You killed my mother for this business, but I am not afraid of you anymore." The accusation hits Mr. Lee like a physical blow. The stepmother gasps dramatically. Mr. Lee's face contorts. Lashing out and shouting, Mr. Lee orders, "Stay within your limits." "What nonsense are you spouting? Get out of this house immediately, before I make you regret ever leaving that room." Mr. Lee turns and storms away, but his threat hangs in the air. Saya is alone, momentarily victorious, but now utterly without a place to go. Hours later, the sun has set. Jing is sitting in his luxurious penthouse apartment, reviewing documents, but his mind is nowhere near his work. The memory of the runaway bride, the scent of her, the feel of her pressed against him, is a poison and an addiction. Sia. I know her father. She is disposable to him, a pawn. But to me, she is everything. That fire, that defiance. I must have it. I must claim what is mine. She promised me anything. I will not rest until she is back in my hands, Jing mused, restless with obsession. Suddenly, a distant sound interrupts his thoughts. A faint sound of movement from his apartment's upper level. A private area usually restricted. Hing rises, silent and lethal. He moves to the hallway, and there, ascending the spiral staircase, hesitating, looking lost and desperate, is Sia. She must have found a back entrance to the penthouse building, the very building she had fled earlier. Jing blocks her path, his figure a menacing shadow in the dim light. He is calm, utterly certain of his victory. In a slow, possessive voice with a hint of mockery, he says, "Sia, it seems you couldn't wait for me after all. You came here to my apartment to meet me yourself. I must admit, I am flattered by your impatience, Runaway Bride." In an angry, defensive voice, refusing to show fear, Sia retorts, "What are you doing here?" "Get out of my way! This can't be your building. I chose this place randomly." Taking a step closer, reducing the distance between them, Jing insists, "First, answer me. You came all the way to my personal penthouse for me. Were you missing me that much after our intimate encounter this morning?" Saya takes a nervous step back, her resolve wavering under the sheer power of his presence. In a defensive, hasty voice, she tries to explain, "There's no need to be so happy. Jing, Jing cuts her off, his voice dropping lower. "Okay, so tell me, Sia, what exactly happened this morning? Why are you still running?" I have to run, before he says anything else. Before I admit how much my heart is beating right now. Before I realize that the terrifying man who cornered me is the only person who can keep me safe. Sia was conflicted, her attraction warring with her fear. She ignores him, trying to push past, but Jing catches her arm, his grip firm, unyielding. In a soft but binding voice, he says, "You don't get to run from me anymore, Sia. We have unfinished business." He pulls her close. Their bodies meet, the shockwave of their combined heat overwhelming the senses. Sia gasps. Jing leans in, his face inches from hers. In a dangerous promise, he whispers, "The game is over, Miss Runaway Bride. You are right where you belong." He seals the distance. His kiss is fierce, demanding and utterly possessive. Sia fights for a moment, the ingrained fear of him and her situation warring with a deep primal attraction she can't suppress. The kiss is too much, too intense, too overwhelming. She gives in, her hands flying up not to push him away, but to clutch his suit jacket. The air leaves her lungs. The world spins away. All that exists is the cold, cruel, yet passionately demanding CEO who has just claimed her, right there, on the steps of his penthouse. She is his, but what Sia did not see, hidden in the dim light of the staircase, was the single, fleeting image on Jing's phone screen just before he blocked her path. A photograph of her wedding announcement, and a chilling text message from her father to Jing. "Find my daughter, and I will sign the merger papers." Jing knew exactly where she was. He planned this. "You walked into the wrong room. Sia, you walked into my trap." This was The Secret of Room 302, Episode 1. What exactly is the CEO's plan? Was the entire encounter a setup? The next episodes will reveal the shocking truth of their forced romance. Leave your theories in the comments below. Don't miss Episode 2 coming soon.